to Jamming with Dr. Terri, where JAM stands for Jesus and Me. Hi, I'm Dr. Terri, Children's Pastor for Faithful Central Bible Church. Children, have you ever not been chosen for a team or an activity because of how you look? Maybe you were too short or too tall, or you just didn't look the way people wanted you to look. Maybe you tried out for the basketball team, but the coach didn't think you were tall enough. Or maybe you were not chosen for the school play because you weren't popular. Maybe you weren't chosen for that special activity because people say you're a nerd, and they thought that you wouldn't be any fun to be around. Well, today, as we continue talking about children of the Bible, our story is about David again. Remember, just because you are a child, it does not mean that God can't use you, because he can, just like he used David. This time, God chooses David as a king. I know, that's crazy, right? He was just a child. Well, let's find out how this happened. David was the youngest son in a family of big and tough boys. All of David's brothers were warriors. They served in the army of Israel, and they were all handsome and strong. Well, God had decided that he would choose a new king for Israel. He told the prophet Samuel to go to Bethlehem to Jesse's house. Now remember, Jesse is David's father. So Samuel's going to Jesse's house. He knew exactly who he was going to choose. So Samuel listened to God. And he told Jesse to bring his sons so that God could tell him which one he had to choose to be king. Jesse brought in 7 sons. Then when Samuel saw the first son, God said, nope, he's not the one. Then the second son passed by Samuel, and God said again, no, he's not the one either. Then Samuel saw the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the 7th son. And God still said, no, none of those were the one. Samuel could not understand. He was so confused. They were all very handsome and very strong. One of them had to be the king that God had chosen, right? Then God said something very, very important. He said to Samuel, don't look at how they look on the outside. I have rejected them. Man looks on the outward appearance, what they look like on the outside, but God looks in the heart. What does that mean, Dr. Terri? God did not care that the 7 sons were handsome and strong. God cares more about what's inside the heart, what's in you, not what's on the outside. After 7 of Jesse's sons passed before Samuel, there were no more sons in the house. So Samuel asked, are you sure, Jesse, these are all the sons you have? Who did Jesse forget? He still had one more son, but he was still a child, and he was taking care of the sheep. Samuel told Jesse, call David. And guess what? When David came in, God said, he's the one. David was the one that God wanted to anoint as king. David wasn't the oldest. He wasn't the tallest. He wasn't even the strongest. But God chose him to be king because God does not look on the outside, but God looks inside at the heart. God showed David, his brothers, Samuel, and Jesse that what's on the inside is way more important than what's on the outside. It doesn't matter if you're in kindergarten, if you're in 3rd grade, or or even if you're headed to middle school, God can use you. God can use you to share love with your family and friends. He can use you to be a helper to mom or to encourage someone who needs it. Get into the habit, children, of serving others now, and God will do even greater things as you get older. David grew and became a mighty warrior, and he was a spiritual leader to his people. God can use you to change your school, change your city, your country, a whole world even. It all begins right now with a willing heart that longs for Jesus. David didn't become king because of who he would become. He became king because of who he was. A little boy with a big, big heart for God. So children, don't worry if you're not chosen for something because of how you look on the outside. Give your hearts to God now. Do what he tells you to do, and God can use you for big, big things, even though you're small. Thank you so much, children, for joining me today. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I'm Dr. Terri, and I'll see you next time.